Hello there, welcome to this very special program that looks at leaders from Mbise, USA, and beyond, as we try to have insight into the people that make policies that think about the best for the Mbise people. And today, we're very much privileged to have as our guest a former deputy chairman of the board of delegates of Mbise, USA between 2016 and 2018, and currently the vice president of Mbise, USA. He is an alumni or alumni of Eastern Michigan University Business School, where he obtained a BBA in accountancy. He went on to have certifications in diverse fields, including software technology, tax accounting. In fact, his resume is quite tall. We talk about universal business ventures, software training and consulting, pharmaceutical, sales and management with Pfizer and other. This is a business consultant, executive advisory and strategy, uh, extending to development services. He's no other person other than a product of Mbise Secondary School. He's very proud of this very background, showing that he grew up from Mbise. So help me welcome SAG Chief Alozie Aguwa. It's my pleasure to have you.
My pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, apart from the little resume I gave about your person, your name appeared to resonate in different circles, wherever we find NBC people gathering and other interests, but positively. Can you tell us a bit who is this man? What makes you unique? Who is Alozie Agoa?
Well, thank you. That's an interesting way to start. And it's actually the right way to start by defining who I am. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Um, I am a very simple man, a simple person that believes in humanity. A little bit of background for me. Like you said earlier, I attended Mbise Secondary School for my high school. Came to the United States in 1985 and studied to have a degree in business administration with a specialty in accounting. And I did that. And because I love people, I love dealing with people, I love working with people, I've been able to do things that a lot of people only dream about. Things like working in multiple different career settings and excelling in them. Started off after college being a tax accountant and did very well there. But I felt that it was a little bit boring for me. I like to deal with people more than just accepting their documents and then preparing their taxes. So I went and learned how to teach software. So I learned software on my own, went and applied for a job with New Horizons Computer Learning Centers of Detroit, of actually Livonia, Michigan at the time, and was able to be hired. And I started teaching software there. Was doing mostly corporate training. So they would send me to, in those days, Ford Motor Company. They would send me to GM, different companies, whether it was the auto industry or the telecommunications industry, many, many different companies. I would go there and teach software applications like Microsoft Word, Excel, um, different software. And from there, went on to become a supervisor, training supervisor, then training manager, was transferred to the New York office where I ran the training department for many years. And then my family and I decided to invest in that company. So we bought the franchise of New Horizons, and I was one of the people that ran it in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I lived in Wisconsin for 10 years. But beyond technology, I've also had a lot of experience in the pharmaceutical industry, because when we decided to sell the business after 9/11, I ended up being hired by Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. So I worked for the cardiovascular division and made a mark there. I was one of the people to be basically awarded the Vice President's Cabinet Award very quickly after starting with them. So I excelled in sales, and that's the highest award that Pfizer gives her salespeople. So I won that, and then when I got a promotion into the HIV division, I won the same award again within 2 years. So I worked for Pfizer
I
for.
know there is a lot to your name, a lot of awards and all that. Let's go into other issues. You've occupied various positions serving in BC as the deputy uh, chairman of the board of delegates of NBC USA between 2016 and 2018, before becoming the vice president. And currently, you are also the president of NBC People's Association in Dallas. Uh,
Yes.
let's tap into your experience, given the roles you've played and the impact you've made.
All right. So when I first attended an NBC USA convention, my initial assessment was this is a diamond in the rough because of some of the things that I witnessed. So I made a decision there and then, and I think it was the Chicago convention in 2011, that if I were to move to a city where there are NBC USA associations, I would join one and see how I'd contribute. So that led to me joining MPA in 2014 when I moved to Texas. So I shortly after that in 2016 was asked to manage the convention in Austin, Texas, and at the same time I ran to be the deputy chairman of the board. So what I did in the Austin convention was to introduce a novel approach for MBC to actually expand its horizons. And basically, I introduced a platform called MBC Leadership Forum. So we've been using that as a think tank to come up with ideas that will help extend MBC's development opportunities. So not only that, when I became the deputy chairman of the board, I worked with the chairman to actually configure a blueprint that was used to reshape the board to make it functional. I was the first person to introduce video teleconferencing, which allowed everybody to be honest with each other. And if somebody was making noise, we would pin the location down and be able to manage the calls. So that was one of the contributions that I provided to the organization. But the blueprint that was used to redesign the way the board functions, some of the policies, I was instrumental in developing that. Now, as the president of MBC People's Association, I've contributed a lot in terms of, reconfiguring the tenor of discussions and the way we look at our neighbors. There are two other chapters in Dallas, and I can say to my credit and to the credit of the other two presidents, President Festus Okeke and now President Godi Odemene. We now have peace amongst us, and any one of us that's doing anything carries the other three along, the other two chapters along. So I've contributed in that regard. Now, I've been the vice president since 2018, the vice president of Mission USA. And I can certainly say that part of the greatest areas of contribution for me would include making the vice president's office stable, because my
Well, I was
boss.
going to ask you that because MBC USA has a history of intracadal squabbles and lack of stability in terms of the president and the vice, and extending to the board at times. How you able to navigate it to maintain this stability through these years?
Yeah, and I appreciate that question. For me, it actually is very simple. You lead by example. And I saw that we have a very good leader, a strong leader who leads by example. And I followed his example. And part of how he runs the meeting is to make sure that everybody's opinion is sought and secure. And then he makes a decision, and then, we work together. The other thing is I believe that for you to lead, you must serve. And for you to serve, you must serve well. So the first day I was elected into the office, I told everybody, I said, look, my job is to deliver on whatever the president assigns me or whatever MBC USA assigns me, whatever those tasks are, that's going to be my focus. My focus is not to try to unseat the president. If anybody has any issues with the president, they must go to the president first. If you come to me, I will remind you that you should have gone to the president first, and I'm still going to wait till you go to him. And if you don't have success, then I can try to interface with him. So I've maintained that. And because High Chief Eso Esechendo is a very magnificent leader and very, very committed to serving Mbise, I personally have also, acquiesced to that. Not necessarily acquiesced, but it's part of what I'm also about. So we have a lot of similarities in terms of our background. We both started off, in the pharmaceutical industry in similar ways. And I think that part of what corporate America gives you is that ability to focus on what's critical, what's important. And we both believe that the most important thing for Mbise at this time is to help develop our people and help develop our land. So that's
Okay.
what one has
Given,
been.
given the synergy that is working between you and SOS Chendo as the president, what initiatives or policies or programs have you been able to put on ground that you feel is impacting the people of Mbise and our community?
All right. So let me go back a little to what's happening within the organization right now. So part of what we have as our mantra, if you actually go to any chapter president or other leaders and you say round pegs in, they will finish the sentence, round holes. So our objective, paramount objective, is to make sure that we find those key stakeholders who have the pedigree to manage whatever position they are assigned or elected into. And we expect and demand the top-notch performance from them.
Hmm.
And that has really made a huge difference. If you look at the VCC program, when we realized that we didn't have the round pegs in the round holes, the president opted, and we were supportive of that decision to make the changes. And now, not only has that program really, really increased in capacity, we've also been able to stabilize it. We don't write bounce checks anymore, which we did at the beginning of the program. Ochaya and I had not become leaders for the organization at that time, but when we came in, we said we have to improve on what the previous administration did, and now nobody will ever be written a bounce check. A few other things: identifying opportunities that can improve the lives of our people. So recently we had an opportunity to acquire 100 acres of land from the Isialankohu community, where we intend to partner with our partners in Atlanta, where we're going to work with them to build a major hospital, a medical school, a solar manufacturing and distribution plant, a five-star hotel, and a few other infrastructural resources that will help create a very strong economic, positive trajectory for Mbise. We're also involved with the Mbise University that's been designed and built in Ife, in Ezinihite. And as part of my trip to Nigeria during the medical mission, I was able to liaise with the leadership of MPC. They're the ones that initiated the Mbise University. And we all agreed at my initiation that we should make sure that we have a campus in Ahiazu. to make sure that there's an economic tripod where the Ezealanko Medville Medical City now works with Mbise University and maybe a resource institute in Ahiazo. Then you will have a synergy within the Mbise community, and our youth and even our professionals will be better for it, because some of us want to retire back home. Those who have a knack for teaching, some that have maybe doctoral degrees or master's degrees and those kinds of things, may want to retire there and teach there or work for some of these institutions that are being envisioned and being planned as we speak. So those are some of the things that I
Okay,
believe.
I know also that we've had certain highlights about the changes that have been brought into the convention, the MBC conventions over time. And you, for consistently, you've been the chairman of the fundraising, and
Yeah.
they call you the strategist, the chief strategist. We had people donating $40,000 and more. Uh, we also talk about the women empowerment programs that are on ground. Would you want to give us a little insight on the magic of all this?
Yes, yes, and I thank you for bringing that up, because everything that's successful has a genesis. And to be honest with you, when I said that MBC USA, when I saw it, I thought it was a diamond in the rough. I meant that, and that's why I introduced MBC Leadership Forum. Because when you think about it, those that have given us the most money across the years are not really members of MBC USA. If you look at the guy who gave us $50,000 last year, Barrister Manjoko, he doesn't belong to MBC USA. How did he get involved? Well, I was introduced to him through MBC Leadership Forum. Now, remember, I established MBC Leadership Forum in 2016 as a way to create a bridge between MBC USA and our sons and daughters that don't live in the United States. And from there, we are being exposed to so many powerful sons and daughters that are willing to part with some of their resources in order to bless MBC USA and encourage it to continue to do a lot of the humanitarian work, including medical missions. So I would say that that has been very, very impactful, and I will continue to do that. And I may have forgotten the last part of that question. So if you want to.
Well, I talked about the women empowerment program, but it's all well because time is not our favor. We're going to talk about a whole lot because given the projections, you've talked about the medical city, you've talked about other initiatives that this administration, the SOS agenda and Alozie administration, complemented by Dr. Charles Iwejo, must have carried out within time. One wonders how it could be sustained beyond this administration, with SOS agenda's administration bill to terminate by 2024.
Yeah.
And you've been deputy chairman this and the vice president now.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts in ensuring that this legacy is sustained and carried out to the later? Do you have intention of aspiring to be the president of MBC USA, as people have been talking about?
I kind of suspected that that's where you were going with that question, but I thank you. So let me just say that part of the reason why I have not formally and officially, openly declared my interest to be the next president of MBC USA is because we at the executive level made a decision at some point at the advice of our national leader, it's a gender. We decided that we were not going to do campaigning until after the medical mission and potentially after the convention. So my interest is to replace our national leader when he terms out. And I do believe that that would help sustain the legacy that he has established, also help us execute some of the projects that we are, embarking on. Some of them are still on the incubation stages, but will definitely be they'll definitely be groundbreaking, and we'll start building, especially on the Medville Medical City, within the next few months.
Okay.
So I intend to make sure that we sustain some of those projects. I've been learning from him. I've been a student for the last many years under him, and the idea is to not fix something that's going very well. If it's not broken, you don't fix it. And I think that this administration has been going very well. So we intend to, plead with and campaign around, and make sure that our people see that it is the right decision to make.
Okay.
I go ahead.
Yeah, we're talking about that because time is not our friend. We want to catch up with all the questions.
Yes.
Well, you're a very happy family man, married to Dr. Chi Agowa, and
Yeah.
you have lovely children. And you also engaged in service to humanity, to your people, to the community. And of course, a professional to the core, distinguishing yourself in various vocations, in your chosen vocation. How do you marry this? How do you balance this act of service, family, and profession?
Well, it's definitely a tedious task. It's a tedious, life to live. But I'll tell you, for me, what makes it possible is my faith in God. My faith in God really guides me. And I ask God every day that I wake up, I say, please give me the strength to serve my people so that they actually will pray more even for me, and I'll be able to serve them more. So I try to draw energy from service. I try to draw energy from service. Some people come into service and they're looking at what they're going to gain, whether it's financial gain or notoriety. They want to be powerful. Those things don't interest me. I think working in the pharmaceutical industry, I feel that I'm blessed in terms of the little change they give us here and there. My wife is a nurse practitioner as well, so between the two of us, we don't need the association's money. None of us needs that. So what do? We put the little we can put in. We use our own funds to travel.
Okay.
That is one of the things that my boss and I, High Chief Eso Esechendo, we have done that very seriously and very religiously. Whenever we travel with our own funds. He pays for himself, I pay for myself, and that has helped save a lot of resources for Mbise USA. And we do travel a lot. I think we've been
Okay,
to
I think let's get off that. I was going to look at the executive and will I call it legislature? That's the board of delegates relationship.
yes.
While you look at that briefly, we
Mhm.
also want to have your perception of Onyembise or an Mbise person and our community on a parting note.
All right. Thank you. So the current relationship between the national executive team and the board is a very good one. It didn't used to be like that. There used to be a lot of rough and rumble, and you know, excuse me. When we came in, we decided that we were going to find a way to build a good relationship with the board leadership, and that has carried on to now Dr. Charles Iwejo, who is the new board chairman, and his deputy, Honorable Clifford Opera, who is the deputy chairman of the board. And I think Mbise USA is better for it because where people are working in harmony, they are more productive. There are some people who don't like that. They think that the board should be clashing with the executives every day. But I'm glad that that's not the majority of the
Okay,
group.
let's have your perspective, your perception of an MBC person. People have different perspective, different perceptions, so to say, about MBC, so to say. Who is an MBC man to you?
Well, I will say this. The Mbise man is the man who knows that he or she, I say Mbise man or Mbise woman, so is the man or woman who knows that he or she is from Mbise and loves the fact that he or she is from Mbise and is proud of it and is ready to say it any day. And that's really embedded in the fact that anywhere you go and you see somebody from Mbise, when you say, "Where are you from?" they start off by saying, "I'm from Mbise." If you now break it down and say which part of Mbise, then they will say Abom Mbise or Ihazo or isn't it? They don't start off saying, "Oh, I'm from Ekwanazo." They say, "I'm from Mbise." If they don't know that you are from Mbise, they will tell you, "I'm from Mbise." That is the essence of being an Mbise person. And I love it so much because it makes us proud of each other. It makes us proud of our community. And that's for me, it, it's that shining star on the hill. That's what Mbise represents for me. I look
Mbise
forward to
represents shining
traveling
star on the hill. I think that's where we
on the
have to
hill.
end this conversation today. And I'd like to say a very special
Thank you.
thank you to the Vice President of Mbise USA, Ezeji Chief Alozie Aguwa. They call you Triple A. I thank you once again for being our guest.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.